Hello everyone, Blitz to the right here, doing a bit of a short video while I work on the Operation Bagration Part 2 video and the video on the history of private property, the second part. Now, I've always been really interested in my heritage, my DNA, because I come from a very mixed background. My father is black and my mother is white. That makes me cringe kind of saying it that way. They're both Latino though, so yeah, Hispanic. Anyway, on my mother's side, they're primarily Jewish, Arabic, and Mediterranean, European Mediterranean. And on my father's side, they're a mix between, I guess, they were mixed between like Spanish, Portuguese, and Amerindian, right? Which is another word for the original peoples of America, right? So I'm not going to take too long in this. This is just to have a bit of fun. So let's get to it. So, to start off, I am about 40% Italian. Now, in my heritage, there's a difference between Italian and Southern Italian with Greek. I am presumably just Italian. I know that on my mom's side, I have a Sicilian ancestor. So this is a bit weird because I kind of expected it to be Southern Italian, and I cross-referenced, and I do have Sicilian in me, but it's a lot of Northern and Central Italian. You're probably wondering how this is possible because it doesn't really show up here, and I'm going to show you how I managed to do it with a program called GED Match. So the second one is 26% Mesoamerican and Andean. These are the original natives of North America before the colonization period of 500 years ago. These primarily include people like the Mayas, the Incas, and the Aztecs. Might include the Carib, Taino, the Arawaks as well, but it's kind of hard to pinpoint specifically. Some of this DNA is even a bit Siberian because of the Bering Strait land bridge theory that's been proposed, and maybe even Polynesian because of other theories where the Polynesian people took canoes up the coast of Siberia, around Alaska, and down Cascadia, the Cascadian coast in in the northwestern part of North America, up until they reached their destinations, right? So this makes sense because my father's father is mixed race, mestizo between Mesoamerican, well, not Mesoamerican, he is Venezuelan, but Native American from Venezuela, and mixed with Iberian, right? He's from this region called Los Llanos, right? If we zoom in, the resolution's terrible. It's a region in Venezuela right here. Let me see if I could highlight. Can I highlight? Oh, yeah, I could highlight, but it's this part of Venezuela right here that has a high concentration of mestizo people. This is where the first president of Venezuela came from, Jose Antonio Páez, because most people think it was Simón Bolívar, but it wasn't actually Simón Bolívar. Simón Bolívar was the first president of La Gran Colombia. Jose Antonio Páez pretty much seceded. He had Venezuela secede from La Gran Colombia, and he was from Los Llanos, so it's probably from that. He's probably has that ancestry as well. So that shows I have deep Venezuelan roots. Now the next one is about 13% North African. This probably corroborates the fact, the given testimony from my mother that we are Sephardic Jews. Obviously, my grandfather is fully Jewish, and they immigrated supposedly about 500 years ago with the Inquisition. They originated in about Portugal and maybe Narbonne, the Narbonne region of France, right here. And they immigrated first to the Low Countries, right here, Netherlands, Belgium. And then they immigrated to northern Italy, which is probably where they had some admixture with the local Italian population, especially in the most serene Republic of Venice, where I have some distant relatives today, and also in Livorno. So after that, they made it to the Ottoman realm. You know, they didn't do what Baruch Spinoza did, or David Ricardo, who were Sephardic Jews who went to the United Kingdom. They did not take that path. They went to the Ottoman realm, primarily Constantinople, or as they call Istanbul today, and also pockets like Thessalonica. Not many people know this, but one of my ancestors actually was one of the earliest, people are going to hate me saying this, but one of the earliest Zionist Jews who tried to establish a colony of Jews in Tiberias and Safed. Her name was Gracia Nacimendes. So if you want to look her up, do so. But it's a myth that Herzl was the guy who founded Zionism. That's BS beyond proportions, right? So enough with that. Oh, that's my name. Gotta put that out. So the next one is 9.3% Middle Eastern. This makes sense. This corroborates the stories, Turkish ancestry. And also on my mother's side, she was Colombian from Barranquilla. But a lot of people, like her, aka Shakira, were the descendants of Lebanese immigrants, Maronite Lebanese people that immigrated to Colombia. People don't know this, but a lot of South Americans have tremendous Middle Eastern origins, DNAs, but most of them, the problem is people don't realize this because most of them are Christian or Catholic, mainly from like Lebanon and whatnot. Because the Middle East supposedly was 10% Christian 100 years ago, but now it's like 2%. Why? Because all of them went to South America, as well as a combination of like illiberal measures by the majority Muslim countries in the region. But that's a topic for another time. So the last one right here, I think I've covered it, North African. Like that. I went to Morocco. People were friendly. Great. The next ones right here, 12.6, as we can see. We have 7% Nigerian. Now, this is my father's side of the family. This makes sense because Nigeria was the gateway, one of the gateways for slavery, for the slave trade to the New World. Most people think that slaves came to the English colonies, but most actually came to Brazil and the Caribbean. My specific family came to Trinidad. So that's how they immigrated to Venezuela on my father's side. That's also interesting because, the English didn't colonize North America until the early 17th century, when colonization by the Spanish was already underway, and I'm certain they had slaves transported. Another gateway would be, for example, Sierra Leone, Senegal, and whatnot, but I don't have any origins from there, so that's interesting. But what I found the most interesting was this, Kenya. I never thought I would be East African. And I thought to myself, I'm like, maybe I have some ancestors, well, this is obvious, that were East African that mixed with the Nigerian side in me, because I actually found through GED match that I had a bit of pygmy in me, about 2-3% pygmy DNA in me, and I think the pygmies are in the central part of Africa. So it kind of leaves kind of a physical trail, a geographic trail that shows that they could have gone from Kenya to Nigeria, and then that's how it occurred. So this is that. And finally, the last one is Ashkenazi Jewish. Now, I don't know if you all know this, but there are 3 types of Jews in the world generally. There's Ashkenazi Jews, which are the ones that lived in Eastern Europe, the ones that are sad, unfortunately, in the front lines when it comes to Jewish conspiracy theories. The Rothschilds and the Khazar Jews and all that stuff. That's mainly directed toward Ashkenazi Jews. Now, I have a little bit of Ashkenazi right here, 2.6%. So I guess I'm a little bit Eastern European there. But I come from the Sephardic branch, which originates in Spain and North Africa. There's a third branch called Mizrahi Jews, which are Jews that are primarily from Yemen and the Middle East. I actually checked in GED match, and I found that I do have some Yemeni and some Middle Eastern Jewish DNA, but it's primarily North African. So to all you North Africans there, hello, hello, brothers. So now we can switch from my heritage and go here. Now I have input the data to GED match. This is using this calculator called DotaCAD, which is a good calculator for people who have mixed ancestry. GED match is essentially a free tool where you can upload raw DNA, and you can use these sort of calculators that academics and scholars make in order to give more specific DNA results from places. So I used here DotaCAD, and you can see that it breaks down. There's some Eastern European here, some Western European here, but it breaks it down to regions. A tremendous amount of Mediterranean, Neo-African, West Asian as well. It explains the Turkish, Northeast Asian, Southeast Asian. The Northeast Asian, I believe, that is the Siberian that I'm talking about, the Mesoamerican, because in this DotaCAD calculator, it sometimes conflates the two because it has a hard time distinguishing the DNA. So that's what it refers to as Northeast Asian. Maybe I'm a bit Yakut. So Southeast Asia, that could also be the same case. I don't know if it pairs with Polynesia. East African, Southwest Asia, I got Middle Eastern pretty much. Northwest African, that's already a given, and Paleo-African. That might be the pygmy population. So I click on Oracle 4 to give me the more probabilities using the 4 population groups. But here, using one population, you can see it's giving me estimates of my ancestry. Ashkenazi Jew, Moroccan Jews, Tuscan, Italian, Romanian, Italian Greek, Sicilian, Sephardic, Balkans, Egypt, Tuscan, Italian, Libya, Algeria. And I guess this makes sense because I only have like 12% African in me. And also DotaCAD, I don't think it's Africa-centric right here. So here are some interesting results. French Basque, Fulani, that I believe that is African, Fulani. So that's interesting. So I just wanted to share these different kind of results because I think it's pretty cool for people to see Italian, Sicilian, because it kind of corroborates the evidence from my ancestry, but it pinpoints it more. So I was able to pinpoint that I have origins in Abruzzo, for example, which is a part of central Italy east of Rome. So if I look, for example, at MDLP project, MDLP project, and I click here, the kit number, I can put maybe more. I'll put 16 because you could play with the calculators. What this essentially means is that it's going to give you 16 different population groups. So the more populations groups that you put, the more it might be a bit hard to tell if it's accurate and whatnot. So I'm going to just do this to wrap up the video. Now, you see, this gives you a slightly different result. It doesn't give you Northeast Asian anymore. It's able to track that it's Amerindian. Ancestor, that just means that it can't find it. And steppe might mean like Siberian as well. That might be in conjunction with Amerindian. A bit of Indian here. Australian. Caucasian gives me quite a bit of Caucasian. Northeast European gives me a bit. It gives me near Middle East. Neolithic, which is, if I look here, Anatolia and West Asian, essentially. I don't know what the heck. That's weird. So Neolithic, North African, again, and Oceanic, like Oceania, Polynesia, things like that, Micronesia. Southeast Asia, Sub-Saharan African. Now, I find that quite interesting because the Sub-Saharan African part is quite consistent. Now, if we go back one more time and we go to Eurogenes. Eurogenes is a calculator specifying European ancestry. And we click continue here. put back my kit. I'm gonna put 13 right now, maybe. Actually, no, I'll probably put 36 just to mess around. You have to play with this and just like kind of like figure out what all the calculators are kind of telling you, what commonalities they have, right? So this is just loading right here. Taking a while. There's 36 different population groups that it is matching you to. Right here, ooh, that's ugly. That is ugly, but in a good way. So right here, you can do this if you have the thing. So definitely Amerindian, 14% again. It's indisputable. Sorry, yeah. Arabian, Armenian, Basque, okay. Central European, Eastern Balkan, Central Asian, Central European, Eastern Mediterranean. Not Scandinavian at all. A little bit French, but not really. I have a bit of Iberian in me, so Spanish, Portuguese, 14%. It doesn't really show that. Italian is 9.85%, which is kind of different to the 40% given in the MyHeritage website, which is why you kind of have to match and corroborate the evidence and kind of specify, because these big companies, they're not really meant, they're just giving you estimates. They're not really meant to break things down, because people most of the time are just happy kind of having a general idea, but I'm not, because you guys know me. Near Eastern, Middle Eastern, you see North African, North Atlantic, North Caucasian, Northeast African, Pygmy. This is what I was talking about before. I thought it was a bit higher, but this one is different. South Chinese, a little bit Chinese, not much. I guess I'm Permic. Am I Permic? Am I like Volga Ural? So like Tatar? Does that mean I'm Tatar? Permic? Finno-Ugric? Maybe, I don't know. West African is consistent. West Mediterranean. So this gives you a good general idea of things. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that kind of New Year's treat. You know, I'm not used to making these vlog videos, but you know, maybe more will come if you guys enjoy this kind of thing. So I'll see you all soon. I'm working on Operation Bagration. Remember, if you want to be a patron, please donate. It'll help. Oh my god, this light's bright. And I'm resetting the tier system. And I'm also working on my website. All right. So I'll catch you all later. See you next time.